Under the 2002 National Electrical Code, a complete rewiring is generally not required for minor electrical updates, such as adding switches, outlets, or smoke detectors. However, it's crucial to conduct an assessment of the existing wiring to determine if it meets essential safety standards. These standards include adequate wire size, proper grounding, circuit protection, and insulation. Conductors must be sized appropriately for the electrical load they will carry. The electrical system must have an effective grounding path. Electrical circuits must be protected by overcurrent devices such as breakers or fuses, rated for the circuit's capacity. Wiring must be properly insulated to prevent electrical shocks. To assess the existing wiring, an electrician should inspect the following: panel capacity, circuit breaker or fuse ratings, wire condition, and grounding system. Firstly, verify that the electrical panel has sufficient capacity to handle the additional loads from the new devices. Secondly, check that the existing circuit breakers or fuses are rated appropriately for the current draw of the new devices. Thirdly, inspect the wires for any signs of damage or deterioration. Fourthly, ensure that the existing grounding system is adequate and meets code requirements. If the assessment reveals any deficiencies, the existing wiring will need to be updated to meet the 2002 National Electrical Code standards. This may involve rewiring certain circuits or replacing the electrical panel. If the assessment shows that the existing wiring is in good condition, the new switches, outlets, and smoke detectors can be installed without requiring a complete rewiring. However, an electrician should still verify that the circuit breakers or fuses are correctly sized and that the grounding system is effective. It is highly recommended to consult with a licensed electrician to assess the existing wiring and determine the appropriate course of action. They can provide a professional evaluation and ensure that the electrical system meets all applicable safety standards. When evaluating the adequacy of wire size, refer to the National Electrical Code tables such as Table 310.15b16, which provides ampacities for insulated conductors rated up to 2000 volts, 60 degrees Celsius through 90 degrees Celsius, in not more than 3 conductors in a raceway or cable or earth, based on ambient temperature of 30 degrees Celsius. Ensure the existing conductors meet the ampacity requirements for the circuits they serve, considering any added load. Regarding proper grounding, an effective grounding path is essential for safety. The grounding system should comply with Article 250 of the National Electrical Code, which covers grounding and bonding. Verify that the grounding electrode system is intact and properly connected, and that equipment grounding conductors are present and correctly sized. For circuit protection, overcurrent devices, such as circuit breakers and fuses, are designed to protect circuits from overloads and short circuits. Ensure that the existing circuit breakers or fuses are of the correct type and rating for the circuits they protect. The breaker or fuse rating should not exceed the ampacity of the conductors. Refer to Article 240 of the National Electrical Code for overcurrent protection requirements. Insulation is crucial to prevent electrical shocks. Inspect the wiring for any signs of damage or deterioration, such as cracking, brittleness, or exposed conductors. Damaged wiring should be replaced immediately. Consider the type of insulation used and its suitability for the environment. Verify that the electrical panel has sufficient capacity to handle the additional loads from the new devices. Calculate the total load in the panel, including existing loads and the added loads from the new devices. If the panel is overloaded, it may be necessary to upgrade to a larger panel. Check that the existing circuit breakers or fuses are rated appropriately for the current draw of the new devices. The breaker or fuse rating should not exceed the ampacity of the conductors. If the breaker or fuse trips frequently, it may indicate an overload or a short circuit. Inspect the wires for any signs of damage or deterioration, such as cracking, brittleness, or exposed conductors. Damaged wiring should be replaced immediately. Pay particular attention to connections and splices, ensuring they are properly made and insulated. Ensure that the existing grounding system is adequate and meets code requirements. Verify that the grounding electrode system is intact and properly connected, and that equipment grounding conductors are present and correctly sized. The grounding system should comply with Article 250 of the National Electrical Code. Remember that even if the existing wiring appears to be in good condition, it is still essential to verify that it meets current code requirements. Codes are updated periodically to reflect new safety standards and technological advancements. It is always best to consult with a licensed electrician to ensure that your electrical system is safe and compliant. When adding smoke detectors, be sure to comply with the requirements of Article 760 of the National Electrical Code, which covers fire alarm systems. Smoke detectors should be interconnected so that when one alarm sounds, all alarms sound. They should also be located in accordance with code requirements, such as outside of sleeping areas and on each level of the dwelling. When adding outlets, be sure to use tamper-resistant receptacles in areas where children are present. Tamper-resistant receptacles have internal shutters that prevent the insertion of foreign objects. They are required in dwelling units in accordance with Article 406.12 of the National Electrical Code. When adding switches, be sure to use switches that are rated for the voltage and current they will be carrying. The switch rating should be equal to or greater than the circuit's voltage and current. Also, ensure that the switches are properly grounded. If the existing wiring is aluminum, it is essential to take extra precautions. Aluminum wiring can corrode over time, leading to loose connections and potential fire hazards. If you have aluminum wiring, it is recommended to have it inspected by a qualified electrician. They may recommend replacing the aluminum wiring with copper wiring or using special connectors designed for aluminum wiring. When working with electrical wiring, always remember to turn off the power at the circuit breaker or fuse box before starting any work. Use a voltage tester to verify that the power is off. Never work on live electrical circuits. Wear appropriate personal protective equipment, such as safety glasses and gloves. If you are not comfortable working with electrical wiring, it is best to hire a qualified electrician. Electricity can be dangerous, and it is important to take all necessary precautions. In summary, when remodeling an old home and adding electrical components under the 2002 National Electrical Code, a complete rewiring may not always be necessary. However, a thorough assessment of the existing wiring is crucial to ensure it meets current safety standards. The assessment should include checking wire size, grounding, circuit protection, and insulation. If deficiencies are found, the wiring should be updated to meet code requirements. Consulting with a licensed electrician is always recommended to ensure safety and compliance. Furthermore, specific requirements for smoke detectors, outlets, and switches must be followed, including interconnection, tamper resistance, and proper ratings. Remember to always prioritize safety when working with electricity and to seek professional help when needed.